How's it, everyone? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome to How's It Cousins, the podcast where we take a look at the unique people of the world and the interesting things they do. We talk about them, we relate to them. Hopefully, we help you, the listener, relate to them as well. On this week's show, we got special guests in the studio at your afterthought. My boy Troy, number one Patriots fan, you know.
Oh, is that how we starting off? Oh, man.
And in light of it being Super Bowl week, we're gonna talk about none other than the legendary Super Bowl, we'll say, icon, the trophy man himself, Coach Vince Lombardi.
How's it, Chris?
I one day would also like to have a trophy named after me, but I don't see that really coming. But
yeah, you know,
one day.
Hey,
how's it, Alvin?
Yo, what's up, man? I did want to talk about that too, but after, definitely. So, hey, how's it, Chris? Are you talking about Vince Lombardi? Yo, I'm down to talk about Vince Lombardi, man. Let's do this.
Aloha, Alvin. Thanks for jumping into the Super Bowl themed podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm always down to talk to you. It's always fun. Let's do it.
Before we continue, I always want to remind everyone you're watching or listening to the How's It Network. If you like this, you like what you're seeing, you can check us out at howsitnetwork.com. If you want to hear more, we're on all the popular podcast services, including iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, whatever you want. Follow us on social media at How's It Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You'll always get the latest stuff up there. Alvin, you got anything you want to plug before we get started?
Yes, my name is Aloha Alvin, and you can find more of me at alohalvin.com.
And even before that, in studio, we got our guest, Troy, my boy.
Oops.
How's it going?
How about you introduce yourself, give the fans a little bit of what you're all about here.
All right. Well, I'm a man of the appreciate the opportunity to be on a How's It Network. Being with you and Alvin, an awesome opportunity. I'm a man of the music and sports atmosphere. Love to get out, love all sports, love music, play some, make some. Sometimes it even sounds good.
Nice.
You can easily find me out at Your Afterthought on Instagram and Twitter. So that's UR, because I have this limitation on how long I want to make my actual handles. And so, yep, Instagram I check on a daily, and the Twitter I might check on a maybe. So you can find me there, and I'd like to hear from good peoples.
Awesome. All right. So, Vince Lombardi. Ironically, Super Bowl trophy is the Lombardi trophy, right? He was a football player, coach, probably one would say one of the greatest football coaches of all time, and possibly one of the greatest coaches of any sport all time, right? Famously known for his streak with the Green Bay Packers, where they won 3 straight NFL championships, and I think it was 5 total in 7 years or so. And the winners of Super Bowl 1 and 2, the original.
Nice.
Just want to put a little moment out there because my home team, the New York Jets, were the winners of Super Bowl 3. And so there's always some connections already there. You know, you have the jersey fame with the Jets, and you got Vince Lombardi. He's got some jersey history too.
That he does.
Nice. You guys definitely know the history better than I do. That's cool stuff, man. I don't deny it. Awesome shit. Nice.
So, truth be told, Lombardi started as a high school coach, as research has shown.
Nice.
And he went from coaching high school to coaching college into the NFL and found incredible success. More specifically, he actually coached at West Point Academy, which is the Army Academy. And a lot of stories have credited that his time at West Point is what gave him the, we'll say, discipline to his coaching style, the militaristic discipline.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned something, and I gotta go with this because this is something I think about when I think of Lombardi. So first of all, obviously, tons of wins, all that good stuff. You threw down the list. I read somewhere, or maybe I saw in a video, where it was the dude wasn't home very much. You know, it's an interesting mix because on one hand, I like to win. I'm not even gonna pretend I always like to win. That's what I like to do. I try my best every time. So in his case, I think what I read was before sunup, boom, he's there. And way after everyone else is gone, Lombardi is still in the house, you know. And then maybe afterwards he'd go home. And I guess when I think about that, first of all, awesome work ethic. See, I applaud that. But second of all, that's gotta be rough on the family. So I was just gonna ask, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
There's been like lots of people who've had like, you just say the greatness, right? And so when you start digging into their lifestyles, and you could use Tom Brady since we're in like current state, LeBron, Jordan, they will always have these weird twists when you look into their personal lives. Derek Jeter, he wouldn't let anyone come into his house with a cell phone. He didn't want those outside distractions. Brady, he's got he's known for the diet, how to keep himself fit and in shape going on. So, I mean, I think like when you really are striving for that greatness, there's going to be things that you're just going to sacrifice. And some, for him, it could be the time. For others, it could be the lifestyle, a certain type of lifestyle, which you think is very glamorous, but it's actually like really, really structured and detailed, and maybe not as glamorous as we think it is. So, I mean, everyone is willing to put forth something aside, if you want to just reach that pinnacle, to be pretty much known maybe as one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. What do you think, Chris?
Well, so I'm not a true fan of the whole, like, you have to grind out 1 billion hours to be great at something. Mm-hmm. But the truth is that if you want to be the greatest of all time, you do got to put in the work. Now, how efficiently you do it, how much you have to sacrifice to do it, that's all kind of up to you, an individual person. But I believe that something's got to give, right? There's only 24 hours in a day.
True.
Now, can there be balance? There can be, and there probably should be. And in this case, was he balanced? I don't know, right? We weren't around at that time, when he was making it big. So I don't know. And funnier than that is that I don't know how well that information would have been shared back then. Like, now,
interesting.
Like Troy mentions the Tom Brady, the ethic and all that stuff. Like, we all know that now because of the internet. We can find that out really quickly. We know into these people's lives and what they have to do. But back then, that wasn't available. So he could have been just, pulling the midnight oil all the time, and no one would have known until, way later.
Okay, so I was gonna say that the thing I always think of is like Michael Phelps, right? Clearly like an amazing swimmer. And I remember watching this thing on 60 Minutes, and it was like, all right, what's your training like? What's up with that, right? And then Michael Phelps is like, yo, I train every single day except for 1 day a year. And I'm like, First of all, that's interesting to me. And second of all, clearly very, very hard worker. But third of all, I'm like, I wonder what that 1 day is. Like, you'd think it's Thanksgiving for family time, but then maybe it's his birthday. Cause the flip side of this is, yo, Michael Phelps, Merry Christmas, get in the pool. Yo, man, Happy New Year, get in the pool. Happy Valentine's Day, get in the pool. Cause like, that's how you get to Michael Phelps' level, It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, kind of unique because when you're talking about like individual athletes, what they do for a training session could be just a couple of hours in a day. So yeah, he trains every day, but that could be like 1 or 2 hours. When you started getting to those coaches, and now it's just like, okay, well, it's just not me, but it's like all of these guys that I got to get in together. All right, reviewing film, doing the actual practices. I could really see him putting in, when we talk about 24 hours in a day, he might be putting in those 23 hours all in one day, like pretty consistently and stuff. Definitely take it to the next level. And at the time, it was just something different because, all he was thinking about as far as his greatness were those victories. So yeah, it might have been the only way he knew to go about it. You look at a lot of today's athletes, and I think they do a better job at finding the balance. You look at LeBron, which a lot of people will say he's at that greatness, but he's into the movies, he's into the management, he's got his own, as far as signing athletes and stuff like that. And then, he's even gone into like NASCAR, going back to the schools and stuff. So he's definitely like found his balance where, to take care of himself, still achieve what he's trying to do, but yet, get that room for everything else. But during that time, that's from the days of the old school. It's just like, all right, you just keep going. And then, that's how you get your keep. You earn by putting in the work in. Cause that was like the baby boomer style. It was about loyalty and just putting in those hours and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if all in, I guess 24/7, like if that was real.
Definitely. You bring up an interesting point. Okay, so I think of the Avengers. So let's go Avengers real quick here. I have a friend. He's huge on Iron Man, and he's like, "Yo, Iron Man's the best," and all that stuff. And I remember reading this in a comic as well as just talking about it to someone. It's like, okay, so if I was on the Avengers, of course, I'd want both Cap and Tony. Because they're both, amazing people. The thing is, with Cap, you see him constantly struggling. Like that's the whole thing in that movie where Cap is like, I would lay myself on the wire or whatever. What I'm getting at is like, there's some leaders out there who are like, hey, you don't look at what I do. You guys just get out there and put 110, do the 110%. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Versus seeing your coach there all the time, seeing him reviewing tape. What? If I was a player, I'd be like, yo, coach, I can't even do less than this. I have to be, pushing as much as you. And then I think there's the W's right there, right? Like if all the team always sees him doing that, that's got to have an effect on them. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
I agree. I mean, like, it's one thing to do it for yourself, right? It's one thing to, like, you make the Michael Phelps argument, right? But it's something completely different to motivate, 60 people to have that same work ethic. It takes a different skill set even to, we'll say, inspire others versus just having your own nose to the grinder.
True. Yes.
Probably pretty easy to sustain though once you start seeing the effects of it. You would get that first title. It's like, all right, this is what we got to do. So now it's kind of like it's defined. That's the method to get to those titles and stuff. And then they do it for 2 more years, so it becomes like the blueprint, pretty much.
All right, Troy. I'll ask you this because I think you would know better than I would. There's a quote that I like, and in my mind it's Lombardi, but it might have been Jordan. I don't know, or Gretzky. But winning is a habit. Do you know who that is?
Winning is a habit.
Winning is a habit.
I want to say winning is a habit was Lombardi, but I'm not sure. Well, anyway, I like what it represents. Like you said, like once you see what works, bro, do it again, and then do it again and again, do it again and again. So now I'm wondering that, but yeah. Well, the other thing I was gonna ask you guys, especially because in my mind that's Lombardi, but I could be wrong, is I love the idea of instilling the habits, right? So I'm a website. I have something called 7 Habits of Highly Effective Writers. It's just fun for me. I love that kind of stuff. Play on Stephen Covey's words. I love habit building. And I remember reading stuff about Lombardi. Same thing. Like the ridiculous work ethic. It's not just a dude wasting time. He has the good habits. He's working on things constantly. That kind of stuff. I love it. So random fun question for you guys. Is there a habit that you have that you love and you want to share?
Yeah, let me take a moment.
I know.
We did do a little research and, I just want you to know, we did do a little research to find out that, yes, winning is a habit. That is a Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
The whole quote says, winning is not a sometime thing. It's an all the time thing. You don't win once in a while. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. And that is from USA Today, quoting Vince Lombardi from previous.
Man, I love that quote. That's so awesome. Nice. Okay, I'll go first.
While doing that,
what's up?
No. So while researching that, I did not think of a habit that I have. I have bad habits, man. Now that you say that, holy crap!
Interesting. Okay, well, on that note, and this is also from Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, which I like. Anyway, in that book, there's a riddle, and it starts off something like, I create great achievers, and I destroy people with what I do, something like that. Like I can affect people in all these great ways and as well as terrible ways. And then it keeps naming different things. And then the last question is, what am I? And of course it's habit, if you got Michael Phelps' habit of working hard all the time, hey, great stuff comes to you. And if you got, I don't know, drug use, then hey, not so great things coming your way too, Okay. So I'm going to answer my own question first. And then, because I feel like you guys are still thinking, I wanted to.
We are.
You guys.
We're still thinking, all right.
I think I may have one, but since you're on a roll.
Okay. No problem.
I want to hear yours.
So, I'm a writer. I love writing. And at some point in my life, I wasn't a writer. It wasn't a thing. It was a maybe thing. And I remember reading many, many big name people like Stephen King people. They're like, yo, if you want to be a writer, the best thing you can do is write every day. Whatever it takes, you make the time, you do it. And at the time I thought, well, whatever, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. And I can say at some point I converted, obviously. But at some point I converted from that to this. And at this point in my life, I write every day. And on top of that, I don't think about it. I just do it. It's a weird thing. Like, it would be the opposite. If I did not write, I'd be like, man, this is weird. What am I missing today? It's like leaving your house and not brushing your teeth. That just doesn't work for me. I brush my teeth first. It's a habit, like every single day, You know, okay, this, you can't see me right now, but I'm smiling and sparkling white teeth. Okay. Okay, anyway, sorry, Troy, go.
No, that was perfect, and I'm very happy about your oral hygiene program. Seems to be working successfully.
Truth be told, and I'm not going to beleaguer the point, but Troy also has some awesome oral hygiene practices. Let me tell you.
I was inspired.
Yo,
I know.
Keep that going.
I'm gonna get quoted on the internet for that one, but I'm just saying.
Nice.
But that was a perfect habit because it was like, it actually goes along with a quote that I use a lot, and it's pretty much, you don't get better at something by not doing it. And so, you know, guys would always say, oh, you know, I've never done this before. And I was like, well, you should do it. And then it was like, all right, well, I've done it. It's like, all right, now what? I was like, well, you should keep doing it because, you know, you're not going to get better by not doing it. So whatever I'm doing, pretty much, you know, because like I said, I get into music a lot, and, you know, I get into sports a lot. I understand that, yeah, there's going to be some pitfalls, but I just got to keep going, keep practicing, because by just settling and not doing anything at all, I'm not going to get better. And I have the desire to want to get better at things. So the habit is just to keep progressing at it, understanding that I'm going to have my ups and I'm going to have my downs, but you just keep progressing.
Nice. You know, I want to add to that. So I remember reading somewhere that this is an American thing, and I don't know if that's the case, but I definitely know many Americans who would qualify here. And the logic is, okay, let's say your plan is to work out every day. Okay, cool. You know, good for you. Plan it out. Do whatever it takes. Eat the supplements or whatever. And then one day you screw up. You missed the one day. It happened. You know, something happened. Crisis. Maybe you fell asleep. I don't know. Maybe you forgot. You forgot the one day. Then the unfortunate thing is, oh my God, this is terrible. Everything's terrible. What a loser. This is terrible. And it's like, dude, stop. You messed up one day. That's fine. Next day, get back in it. That's all it is. You know, eat clean the next day. Do what you got to do. And that to me, I think is something that a lot of people need to hear more. I feel that way too. You know, like I have days where I write like crazy and I have days where I write less, but I'm still writing, you know, and I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Instead, I'm going to progress forward, you know, more positive energy into it.
Definitely. I mean, you have the, you know, the New Year's resolutions. I always like to call, you know, January, that's like, you know, gym sign up month pretty much.
It's rough. It's
Keep
true.
an eye
It's
on
rough,
that.
man.
Yeah, right. I mean, it is what it is, you know. And gyms know it. Just like, hey, man, put out that sale because we're about to get like everyone coming in. And then come February 1st, it's just like, all right, you know, what's going on there? Do people stop? You know, do they give up? But even if you stop, you don't need to wait till next year to like start signing up and go back on. Just get back on it and continue on. And yeah, so I agree. A lot of people do need that positive motivation. It's not the end of the world when you lose that one day, because, you know, life's going to happen.
Exactly.
Things are going to come out, and you just need to be able to adapt and move forward.
Yo, Chris, I'm going to throw one joke on that. This is not my joke, but I like it. Someone said, I'm going to start a new restaurant and I'm going to call it Resolutions. For the first month of the year, it's a gym. But after that, fat food all the time, greasy food. You know? Okay, anyway.
So I've had all this time to think,
Yes.
and I realize I have really shitty habits apparently. but okay.
Okay,
So
it's okay.
no, but I will say that I think the best habit I have now, and it's kind of in line with what you're saying, is try to plug away at the things that you're trying to do every day. You know. Doing this show, like, you know, streaming on Twitch, whatever it is, like learning social media. I'm still horrible at social media, mind you. Like, just try to learn something new and plug away at that every day. Build toward a bigger goal. That's my big thing, honestly, is have a goal out there, even if it's like a fringe thing or if it's, you know, a pie in the sky, but build toward it every single day. That's what I think the habit would be.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to talk about Zig Ziglar. He's a motivational speaker, but he's since passed away. It's kind of sad because I never got to see him. So anyway, Zig Ziglar had this story that I really liked. And he goes, you know, a lot of people, they're like, whatever, you know, I'm going to drift on by and I'll figure it out. You know, whatever life throws at me, I'll figure it out, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, people who do that never make it up Mount Everest. You've never, like, no one has ever walked around aimlessly and said, hey, look at me, I'm on top of Mount Everest. Like, that just doesn't happen, you know. It takes the timing, the practice, the team, all the supplies, all that good stuff. And it's like, if you ever want to achieve a Mount Everest level, you know, goal, then you absolutely need planning. So, applause to you, Chris. Good stuff. Nice.
I feel that you do a Zig Ziglar quote like once every 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, really?
Just saying.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, no shade on that. You know, whatever. I'm just saying.
Oh, so Troy, I don't want this to pass too long because if I ask later, it'll just sound weird. So, all right, throw it at me, man. What's your instrument? What do you play?
So I play keyboard,
Oh, nice.
bass,
Oh, wow.
and drums.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay, I didn't know it was multiple things. Nice.
Yes.
Renaissance man of
Yes,
sorts.
clearly, yes. And his teeth are so nice. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I would like to thank Crest and Sonic Care
Hashtag not a sponsor.
for not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. But if you want a
I
sponsor,
know
us,
I
Yeah,
am
yeah,
available
yeah.
for that.
yeah.
You know, I'm not. I haven't reached that like Antonio Brown status. And
Yeah,
stuff,
exactly.
But, you know, we all have goals, right? Working
Yep.
up to those goals.
Do you have a favorite song to play?
Favorite song to play? Wait, for which instrument? Because that could be
Wow.
be right.
Wow. Okay. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's all you.
Let's see. I think for the piano, there's a song by Alicia Keys called "Diary."
Oh, nice.
It's very melodic, you know, harmonious, and it's got some nice little passages in there on the keyboard, and it just sounds beautiful. So yeah, that's really my favorite song. Alicia Keys, if you're out there, I would love to play that and have you sing that
That would
with
be
me.
nice.
I will do a little duet action. You know, for the bass, see, the bass is unique because, you know, if I really feel in touch with it, and so there's some deep grooves, like there's a lot of like Erykah Badu songs that I love playing on the bass because, like, oh man, I feel like I'm there with her live on stage and stuff. So it just really feels as a part of me. And then the drums, so the drums could be anything. Like that could be like from Rage Against the Machine to A Tribe Called Quest to, you know, whatever. It's just like all about the feeling. So I don't think I really have a favorite. Like the rest of the music is going to drive me as far as the drums go. So if you got something, you know, that could probably be like my next favorite drum song. Though there was this like awesome Soundgarden song,
Nice.
Spoon Man is what I want to say, but I can't remember it right now. But it was an awesome Soundgarden song, and I'm feeling so bad. I will get back to you on it. I feel so bad that I'm missing it right now.
Nice. Nice.
So to dial it back
Yes.
to Vince Lombardi. So interestingly enough, through my quick research or, you know, in preparing for this show, it's a known thing that Lombardi was a huge advocate for diversity and an unprejudiced team. So you got to figure this is back in the 60s or so, right? When he was prominent, and, you know, things like racism was still real, you know, like sexism was still real. You know, hating on people with different sexual orientations was still real. But Lombardi, more so, I guess more publicly than anyone else, was very much an inclusion type coach, to where like, hey man, if you're gonna hate on like black people, gay people, whatever it is, like you're out. Like I'm gonna cut you immediately. Like that was his thing. He was very much an inclusive type person and encouraged it on his team. Which is interesting because, again, this is back in the 60s, right? Like, we have the crazy movements going on now in, like, you know, 50 years later, more, right? Yeah. But he was an advocate for all that stuff way back then. I think that's amazing, mind you. And it's cool to see someone that forward thinking, you know, with that type of mindset around building teams, regardless of, you know, race, sex, political affiliation, you know, anything like that, right? So I want to say that part of my research was the most, I'll say, surprising, just because it's age old, right?
Yes.
But also like really cool.
No, I'm super impressed. I mean, to throw back to what I was saying earlier, or what we were discussing earlier, it was like, imagine if you were a minority and you're playing, right? Of course, people would be like, get out of here. But then your coach, who works so hard every day, he believes in you and doesn't give a rip about you being a minority. Like, that's awesome. I love that whole thing right there.
Yeah, he's definitely huge. And well, first, I'm going to say the song was Spoon Man by Soundgarden.
Okay.
I just wanna make
Nice.
sure I
There you
close
go.
that loop right there.
On the fly research for the win. Here we go, guys.
I want to make sure I got that. But yeah, definitely, he was a man of acceptance, you know, and I definitely would attribute, you know, where the location, geographically where he was at. So being up in the north around that time frame, you know, definitely played a huge part into it because, if he grew up in Alabama, we'll say at the time, he did the same thing,
Interesting.
And so he was definitely able to take what was pretty much the common thought process of the area that he was at and, utilize that to look for, the greater goal because he cared about winning. So just as like, it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, what your sexual orientation is. We as a team are going to come together because I know you can help this team reach its goals of winning. I know no matter what you are, where you come from, what you do, doesn't really make a difference to me. You are able to contribute. And so he was able to look beyond, those, what other people might see as deficiencies or discrepancies or just, just ideologies that they were not comfortable with, put it all aside and just bring everyone together. And that was really kind of transcending at that time, just to bring it all together and forcefully do it. Not just say, okay, well, let's not talk about it. Like he would outwardly go and say, no, this is my guy. This is on my team. Understand who he is. I accept who he is and then bring him along. But he helps me, we are one, do what we came to do, which is, win those championships, reach that goal. So yeah, a pioneer definitely during that time in the sports era. And it seems like it's been so forgotten, for so long, even though he was one of the starters of it. But now it just seems like, and I think back to, I want to say like basketball recently with Jason Collins. He came out saying as the first, professional, gay athlete to come out in the 4 major sports. But it's just like, okay, well, all right. Yes, understand. But you had this visionary all along, many, many, many years ago, already doing the same things because he already had, gay, black, whatever the case may be, already on his team, but it just didn't seem as, as forthcoming or forthright at that time. Pretty interesting.
The crazy thing is, I absolutely did not know any of that. I just knew him from like Winning is a Habit and the Now Extended Code and all kinds of other stuff, The fact that that's also there, man, I love that so much. It's just that is like a super nice cherry on top of this. That's all. So yeah, that's a nice moment for me. That's cool.
So it's funny you mentioned like Jason Collins as the first quote unquote gay like professional athlete because like I'm gonna quote a article from CitizenTimes.com talking about how when Lombardi left the Packers to coach the Redskins, he was aware of Jerry Smith, who was a tight end for the Redskins. Apparently he was gay. Apparently, I mean, again, this is back in the 60s, right? But Lombardi was the one who said, "Hey, no, this is my guy, right? Your sexual orientation is not going to be an issue on this team, right? Like you're going to be judged solely on your performance and your contributions to winning. Like that's how I roll." And apparently under that coaching staff, like Smith, like this guy Jerry Smith, he was a star. Like he flourished in that system. Like he did really well. He didn't have to worry about getting, chastised by teammates or judged or anything like that because Lombardi imparted on the team that we have to accept this dude. So again, like, wasn't there an NFL one recently too? We might have to look this up as we're going. I thought there was an NFL one where there was some hate like recently. Like, I don't know. But either way, like the point is that like those issues still exist today, even though a dude from like now 60 years ago almost tried to fix it back then.
Nice.
Just imagine how empowering that is, or what a leadership stance that is when you're standing up for your guy at that time, because it wasn't a popular thing. It was the unpopular thing to do. And just to say, hey, this is my guy, this is what we do. So far ahead of a time.
Yeah, they say, like integrity is like, it's doing the right thing, even when it's the unpopular thing, So good stuff. Nice. Okay. Troy, you kind of alluded to this earlier, and this is one of the things I wanted to ask you guys just for fun. So clearly, Vince Lombardi Trophy. Obviously, if you're playing football and you win one of those, good times, right? So I'm just going to throw it at you randomly. All right, you now have a trophy with your name on it. What is it for? What does that what does that mean? Okay.
Great question. You keep making my mind work here.
Yeah, seriously.
Good time. It's just because I thought about it. It's like that's not common to have something named after you. Like the most recent thing I can think of is the Daniel K. Inouye highway, I guess.
Airport?
Yeah. Like that's cool, But I don't know. Like, I don't think much of it. I haven't thought much of it since then. somehow I feel like winning a Lombardi would be a bigger deal. No offense to anybody with airport names or anything like that, but yeah.
Airports named after them.
Yeah. Like, I don't even know how that happens either. Like, I mean, it wasn't even him, right? It was after he died. So his people got on it. It wasn't like, actually, did the Lombardi trophy come out after he died? I assume.
Yes, it did.
Okay. Also,
we can get to that. We can get to that in a minute, but
yes,
we'll just get to it now. So Lombardi died of cancer in 1970, and then after he died, they memorialized the Super Bowl trophy after him. They named it the Lombardi Trophy, and it's been that ever since for like the past 40 something years since.
Man, that's cool. Okay, nice.
Okay, so if we had a trophy on our own name, Why are you gonna come with these hard questions for? We try to prepare for this shit and you just drop like these like I know curveballs.
Supposed to be silly and fun. So for me, okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think I got what it would be for mine, and then at the same time, like I would actually give the trophy to Chris.
What?
Yeah.
Shut the.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Oh my god.
I gotta be real. So
wow. On air.
I'm just
ladies and gentlemen.
what it is.
Oh goodness.
Just calling it is.
Nice.
So like for me, I feel like I'm overly competitive, and it's to a fault. So I don't know if you know, recently, like I was playing just a pickup game in basketball.
If you follow your afterthought on Twitter and Instagram, you would have seen this.
You can see the live.
You can see what happened here.
And so like it was just a pickup game. It was a federal holiday, so I had a day off, and we're playing in the gym. And it was just this pickup game amongst, coworkers, and I died for this ball. Didn't even know it, but I like smashed my chin on the floor. Damn. And I didn't even know it at the time. So I'm literally like, I dove for the ball. I was able to save it. Thank goodness for that. And so I saved the ball, but I hit my chin like right on, the ground. And so I'm running, and I felt it, and I was like, "Oh, there's some blood on here." And, really not nothing. So I'm still playing and just using my my shirt just to sop up whatever blood's coming out, because I'm not thinking it like it's a big deal at all. And so ended up finishing the game. We ended up losing the game. Sad face. But later on, I'm like sitting on the sideline because I was like, "Man, it's kind of hurts." So I go get some ice and just put it underneath my chin. I have really no idea like how bad this injury is. So it finally gets to the point where the ice melts, and so I'm like, all right, I need to go empty this out. So I go to the bathroom, empty out the ice, and now for the first time, I'm looking in the mirror, and I see it is just this, and you have to look at my Instagram to actually see it. It's just a huge cut. Yeah,
it's pretty major. Let me tell you, it's impressive that you continue to play with that. Like,
I had no idea.
Very round.
So like, oh man, that was really bad. And so like, I came out, I'm getting like a towel from the counter lady. And I was like, oh, I just looked at that cut. I was like, oh, that's pretty bad. She's like, yeah, do you want me to call the hospital now? I was like, oh, no. like, no, I'm good. I can drive myself over there. But getting back to the trophy is that just like relentlessness, there are people out there who just give it their all. And why I said I wanted to give it to Chris, because I played basketball with him. And I mean, he just goes all out, like whatever he can do to help the team. The definition of what 110% is.
Nice.
Just goes out there, give it out there. So if I was having a trophy named for me, it was just for that guy who just goes all out. Because there's a lot of people with like super elevated talent who don't even have to try it all. There's people who have high levels of talent, so they balance it out between their talent, what they give it out. But Chris, regardless of what it is, at any point, he's just going to go all. He's going to give himself 110%, 111%.
111%.
Oh, what's up?
Let's even go above and beyond. Just get crazy with it.
You flatter me, my friend. You flatter me.
So definitely he would be the inaugural award winner of that trophy.
Thank you, sir. So for those watching us on twitch.tv/House Network, check it out, everybody. We're sitting down right now, but if we were standing up, you'd understand what he's talking about.
Good call.
Troy is like what, 6'2"?
6'4".
6'4".
Yes, which in Hawaii is like 7'11" almost.
Troy's like 6'4". I'm like 5'7", and we play on the same basketball team sometimes, and it's a thing. Oh man!
Like defensively, I mean, just he's the guy pounding the ground and stuff, and just laying it all out there. Just like, man, it's like if everyone on my team did that, we would never lose ever. I can't see how we would lose.
I appreciate it. And
that's not just flattery. I mean, that's the real. That's the real people. I only
appreciate you,
speak
man.
the truth because
Man.
lying hurts.
This just because I'm the podcast host, he's blowing me up here.
I just call it like it is. Call it is.
Oh,
I know.
man.
I know in the UFC, you see two guys fighting sometimes, and then Joe Rogan or someone, whoever's talking, will say something like, "Man, this guy's got a lot of heart." And I'm like, at first, when I first heard it, I didn't know what he meant. But you see dudes getting punched in the face over and over, but they just don't give up. Like they keep fighting, and that's badass. So Chris, man, I have not seen you on the basketball court. So hey, man, thumbs up, good stuff, very nice, very nice.
Oh, goodness. Wow, I don't even know if I can follow that up. Like, holy
Are you
shit.
blushing?
I am.
So you're a good friend.
Check my cheeks out. Get the lighting in this
Nice.
room.
Chris, would you like me to move on to another question?
No.
Okay.
So
Wait. If you need a little stall tactic, because I don't think we've heard Alvin's.
Oh,
We have not.
See, man. Okay, so I'm gonna not give the right answer. I'm gonna just say something random. So I play Overwatch. I'm not good at it. I play a lot of tank. So tanking, if to use football terms, the tank would be like the lineman. Take all the damage, keep everybody alive, all that good stuff, protect people. So I play a lot of tank. And if I had one under my name, the Aloha Alvin Award, I guess, would be tanking in a video game. There you go. That's it. Simple stuff. Silly stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
all right. So no, I've thought about it, and it's hard to explain this. It's a little bit abstract, but I think if I had a trophy, it would be for, I'm gonna generically say, the open-minded,
Oh, that's cool.
but I'm gonna go more say and describe it as breaking the mold.
That's fitting.
I'll use an example in that recently I got a cold called on LinkedIn, and bro, if you're watching this stream, which you're probably not, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna call you out on this. So I got cold called on LinkedIn, and this dude's like, "Hey, I think you might be a perfect candidate for this job. How about you give me a call? We can talk about it." Like, yeah. I'm like, dude, I didn't apply for nothing, but you contacted me. So, and it was for a software development company. And mind you, right now, I will tell the world, I do not work in software right now, but I like software. I think in my personal life, I'm okay at it, but I'm definitely not a professional by any means. I understand it. But anyway, point is, so, hey, I was like, hey, cool. Maybe this guy actually read my resume and been like, hey, even though this guy doesn't work in software, all these skills transcend. They apply. We want maybe someone to manage people. We want someone to like run a couple of things. Yeah, maybe I'll do that, right? So I call him back and I'll be like, hey man, like I got your message. I'm just curious what you're advertising here. He's like, hey, like I see that you have all this experience. I'll use the term and generically. He's like, hey, I see you have all this experience in testing. Troy's gonna laugh a little bit. He's like, yeah, you have all this experience in testing things. And I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, what kind of things do you test? Is it like software things? I'm like, bro, like my resume clearly states what I test and it ain't software. I tell you that right now. And then I lost all faith in the world because I had for a second a glimpse of like, cause I wouldn't mind going into software, some type of software testing management. Maybe, who knows? If anyone's out there hiring, hit me up. But no, the point is that like, I thought for a second that this dude may have broken the mold to where, to be successful in a job, you have to work 15 years in that exact same job, right? To actually know a thing or two on how to manage things. And, that's how your skills would apply. And I thought, I'm not in that field, but maybe this guy thinks my skills apply. And that would have been my award. He would have gotten my award for fucking breaking the barrier, breaking the mold, right? Getting away from if you don't have 15 years of experience developing software, then you can't do this shit, So I think that would be my award. And although I can't follow it up with a glowing recommendation like Troy, maybe Troy does break the barrier in other ways, I will say. But that would be my award because that's kind of what I see, what I like to think of doing, like trying to transcend norms and trying to, do things differently than the age-old assumptions that have been taken from past. But yeah, I think that would be my award. Someone who is able to do that.
Nice.
I like the name. Break the Mold Award. I like that.
Break the mold,
I like
bruh.
that.
We're gonna coin that. HousingNetwork.com is gonna come up. We'll figure out something right here.
Nice. Okay. So when I think of Green Bay, I think of cold. Like
Ice.
yeah, like holy crap, it's cold. So there's two images that always come to mind. One of them is there's a dude, he's just sitting there or standing there and you see, and then you see the mist out of the mouth, because it's so cold. And the other one is literally running while your hands are in your pockets because it's so fucking cold that you need to put your hands somewhere. Okay. Now what I'm getting at is I've had a coworker ask me this once, and clearly this person did not know football. But the question was, why are they playing in the snow? They should play in a, warmer place, or cover the stadium, or whatever the comment was. And then I remember I've heard more than once that if you're playing football, you got to be tough, all that good stuff. And being super cold, no, we don't even feel the cold. We're here to win. We don't care. So my question to you guys is, what are your thoughts on that? I guess just snow things, being in snow, functioning in snow, or in this case, winning a football game in snow.
Well, I feel like football, just because of when it occurs during the year and it's an outdoor sport, like you just gotta play in whatever you gotta play in. I mean, it sucks that some areas are more prone to snow. So like, the NFL, I'm sure, I don't know exactly what it all says, but I'm sure there's a rule set as to, what is tolerable and what's not.
Ooh,
right? So
okay.
I'm sure that there have been snowed out games. I'm sure it exists, right? But although you watch on TV in January and February, there's definitely a shit ton of snow in some of them games, right?
Some of those games, I'm like, how are you not snowed out? It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it just comes with the territory of playing in a season, or playing a sport that season falls through those months, right? You have to accept that you're in an outdoor sport and this is going to happen, and you have to just adapt to it. I mean, just like in other sports, right? You could play soccer in the rain, and although that's still not snow, like, it's still a pain in the ass. Like baseball, same thing.
Okay,
like
hold
all
up.
those outdoor sports, you have to account for that.
See, I thought the same thing, but if I remember correctly, there was a UH football game or two that I was trying to attend that the rain totally messed it up. There was quote unquote too much rain. Does that happen in football like ever, Troy?
I think it does.
Yeah,
Does it?
I've
Okay.
definitely seen.
I think it does. Now, granted, in football, the tolerance is way greater.
Okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
And that's probably because the method of, we'll say, playing the game is less conducive as compared to baseball in terms of the variables of weather. But I mean, I think that it is a necessary acceptance thing.
Yeah, definitely the stakes are higher going with professional. I think whenever you're talking about weather in any case, what they're always looking at is like a safety factor. So like rain's going to happen. But if you start dealing with like lightning, it's like,
Yes,
all right,
okay.
you might be a little concerned.
True.
Right.
Right.
So that's mainly like what's the driver of it. To get back to your initial question, so it's kind of interesting because like the NFL for the biggest game of the year, which is the Super Bowl, they normally look to get to the perfect weather spot.
Oh, interesting.
Or the indoor stadiums.
Or the indoor stadiums,
yes.
Because you want to get to that ideal weather spot. And so, like, very recently when they had it in New Jersey, because they had it at the Meadowlands Stadium, there was like a lot of like, oh my gosh, what if it snows? What if it's too cold? I mean, the weather ended up being a nice, 60 degrees and stuff. So that actually worked out well. But they're always trying to get for that ideal, don't have to worry about the rain, don't have to worry about the snow and stuff like that. So the weather actually only seems to really apply to one, the regular season, and two, the playoffs, depending upon what your home field advantage is. And so that makes it like very, very narrow as far as the teams that will actually experience those abnormal weather conditions. So you're looking like pretty much the NFC North, and I would probably say maybe the AFC North as well. So, because like that's your Pittsburghs, your Detroits, Minnesota got over it. They just said, "Oh, we're just going to build a dome, so we're not going to worry about that."
Exactly.
But your Green Bay, your Chicago, and stuff. So they have that unique advantage where teams will have to eventually roll into their area, which just helps build up points during the regular season and stuff. So So I think if the NFL was super ideal state, yeah, they would probably have like every single team playing the dome. One, because it's they can get more fans actually coming to the games, because I don't know if you're the same way I am, but if you're going to give me the option of freezing in 32-degree weather or less, or sitting at my house, I'm probably going to choose sitting at my house.
Okay, wait, hold on. Troy, I'm gonna call you on that, man, because if it was snowing, I would take off my clothes and I'd paint half my body. Chris, join me. Come on, man.
Wait, what? Snowing, paint, clothes? Let me think about that.
You see him out there.
Yeah.
There's always those guys.
I give him props. While I'm watching them on TV in my warm house, I am giving them props. Just like, because I go home for every pretty much every Thanksgiving. You're always going to have the Thanksgiving games on, yes. And I see those guys out there, and I'm just like, hey man, more power to you, bro. Because this turkey leg is pretty nice when it's nice and warm in my mouth.
Warm turkey leg,
No, because I remember
break teeth.
I was telling my coworker who didn't know football as well. I was like, look at that snow. Can you imagine a guy born and raised in Hawaii trying to play football in that? And instantly they're like, oh yeah, home field advantage. Like even someone who doesn't watch the game can understand how super difficult that would be.
But I like it. I like the take it out of the ideal scenario. Switch it up. How adaptable are people? So like a lot of the a lot of the West Coast guys, the quarterbacks, because you have the USC, UCLA, Stanford, and then they have to go to these colder weather places and adapt. So you look at Andrew Luck, coming out of Stanford, now have to go to Indianapolis. Like he's made the transition great. So he's just like, I don't care what the weather is. I'm gonna, I can throw the ball pretty much. Tom Brady, he was already in a cold weather place coming from Michigan, going to New England, so not much adaptability. Mark Sanchez, old school butt fumble, coming from USC.
Oh, it's a point of pain, I'm sure. It
is. Every time I see the anniversary of it too. But coming from USC, over to cold places and have to play New England and stuff, and that was hard for him to adapt and stuff. And so like you see the true testament of how good a quarterback is when they're given in less than ideal situations. Just like, oh man, I have to deal with cold, wind, like it's not like sunny all the time and stuff. So I like having it in there. It lets you really like rule out, who are the best of the best. Because Aaron Rodgers is like, I don't really care where I am. I'm be in this cold weather, or I could be in the super sunshine, and I'm just gonna, make things happen and stuff. So I appreciate the weather differences.
Nice. I agree. That can't be easy. I applaud them. All right, Chris. So this is the other thing I always think of, especially with old school football. So I remember seeing these cards, like super dated, and it always trips me out whenever I see their gear. So one of them is like, I don't know this, so you guys can throw some info at me. Sometimes,
and I was about to say, is this like leather helmet that we're talking about right now?
Wait. Before we get to that, do you guys know why some helmets have, I'm going to call them shades, but yeah, like that thing versus not shades? Do you know how that works?
Oh, Marshawn Lynch style with the face.
Is it Marshawn? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Or Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon, true. LaDainian Tomlinson. Yeah. Classic shade.
Could every player have that if they wanted to, or is it like a specific thing?
No.
I think anyone could have it.
Oh, interesting.
Before we continue, Cantor 808 in the Twitch chat shouting out Troy. You know who that is?
Oh, what's up,
Cantor?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, appreciate the shout out.
Yeah,
what are you saying?
Cantor 808. You are right. Colt Brennan did also have the shade.
Oh,
now, Alvin,
trippy.
To your question, can any player have it? I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, right. But I bet that it is more beneficial to certain players compared to others.
See, I would assume wide
like
receiver,
that field of vision.
But to dial it back to the original question, yeah, like leather helmets, trippy, the one bar across the face versus the full face mask. Like, I don't know any of the history of that. Do you guys know that stuff?
One bar versus the full. I do not.
Oh, okay.
I do not know well enough.
Yeah, you figured they just had to start with something. I mean, we've definitely evolved a lot.
Yeah.
But, from that helmet way back then to what we have now. But at the time, they're probably like, man, I'm kind of tired of getting hit in the face. Probably like, put something here. I keep falling on the ground. Maybe I should protect something.
And then some guys like, hey, it's kind of bright outside. Let's put some tint on this bad boy, and then
This guy keeps looking me in my eyes. Can we do
I know,
something about
seriously.
that?
Well, I will say this, and this is also from 60 Minutes, but like, so the NFL, clearly, lots of money, you know, they put a lot of research into what they're doing. And then the current helmet is pretty ridiculous. So if you think of, so like imagine a pillow on your head, that's just one piece, right? But the helmet, from what I saw, was like 18 pieces, covers the front, the back, and all the angles and all that good stuff. And it was so good that apparently the military was like, yo, you guys are doing amazing research. Can you redo our helmets? Now, I don't know how that's turned out since then, but I love that. You know, like their info was so good and it benefited our troops abroad and doing all that dangerous stuff. Love it.
In the Twitch chat, Cantor808 says, kickers use a single bar face mask for a long time afterwards.
Huh.
If you know any history on that, buddy, throw it in the chat and we'll check it out. But so, do you know, Troy, anything about military using NFL helmet technology?
That's actually the first I've heard about it.
Oh, okay.
Same here.
I think that well, once we got past, or once we had more awareness of, you know, all of the concussion issues that was going on in the NFL, I know lots of research has actually been done by multiple companies to improving the safety of all of the players. And that research, I mean, there's no reason why that shouldn't be spread out to, you know, other components, whether it's civilian or our armed forces, you know, to make things safer and stuff. So I could definitely see those technologies, you know, being shared across, because they're definitely much more beneficial to just, you know, the NFL by itself. Going back to the bar thing, it just seems to be kind of consistent with whatever the player is. All right.
Oh,
so a kicker, you're not really expecting much impact to occur. They're out there for a whopping, 12 seconds or something.
Wait, hold up, man. Games are won and lost on a good kick. So
I agree. So it's just that one play, though, that it's going to happen. Whereas you're looking at, you know, your defensive lineman, your offensive lineman, you know, they're play after play after play.
True.
You know, much more likely that there's going to be more contact occurring, and so probably need that extra protection. But all the kickers got to do is really just have that one bar, because they're not really aiming for his head. They're aiming for his foot or the ball for the most part. So not to say that's the end all answer, but that's just kind of like my immediate logic going into it.
That makes sense. All right, so I'm going to throw this out there just for... Actually, Chris, I don't know the answer to this for you. So anyway, I'm a Giants fan. Okay, before I continue, Chris, do you have a favorite team?
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a relatively fair weather fan.
Okay, that's pretty common.
However, I will say that Peyton Manning is probably my most favorite player of all time.
Nice.
So Colts Peyton Manning, awesome. Broncos Peyton Manning, also awesome. I actually got to see the epic Cowboys Broncos game where they scored like 100 points combined. Like I was there live.
Nice,
and it was awesome.
Nice.
So, do I have a favorite team? I'd go ahead and say no, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, you know, Seattle Seahawks for obvious reasons for a little while, but you know, other than that, like, no.
Okay. Well,
Jets are hiring.
Huh?
nice.
The Jets are hiring.
Imagine that. Yeah. Hey, yo.
Well, so the reason why I say that is I like the Giants, and I've been asked, dude, why do you like the Giants? So anyway, but for the record, I don't know any Giants fans at all. If you are listening and you are a Giants fan, please shout out, say something, please. I feel very alone on this island. Okay, moving on. If I had to choose a team, I'm not sure how I would choose right now. But one of the things that I really like is, I was told before that the Packers, you can actually own a part of the team. Man, that blows my mind. If I knew that, I don't know, I might have been a Packers fan, you know? That's amazing to me.
Yeah, Green Bay Packers, the only NFL franchise that's not owned by like a single person / family / thing. They're actually owned by a majority stake. I think it's the city. I can look it up while we're going. But yes, that is a true statement, in that it is possible to take a piece of the Green Bay Packers. Cantor808 in the chat says that they're a publicly traded company.
Oh,
You too can own a share of the Packers.
Yeah, there you go.
That's trippy. Well, okay.
And I hope you're enjoying that bass out there. Hey, maybe we could jam sometime.
Hey, yo.
All right.
Hey, yo.
Nice. Well, okay, so I know this from like business books. They say, so let's say there's a company, it's not doing too hot, you know, whatever's going on. Maybe management up top's not doing so well. And they've said, or at least studies have shown, that there are instances in which if it goes from you are my employees and you work here, you do as I say, and it goes from that to, you know what, you now want to share in it. Here's some shares. We all own it together. We work it together. We pitch in together. We care for more, you know? I don't know if that dates back to Lombardi times, but I love that mentality. It's just so awesome to me.
I think the Packers have always been a shared team. I mean, that's going to require a little more digging than I could do for this episode, but I don't think that has changed. I think that was always the case.
Because, I mean, like, that same logic, like, if I was the one minority or I was the one gay guy and everyone's giving me crap, but Lombardi says, yo, come here, man, play with me, you know, let's do this. I would be like, damn, that's badass. I love all that stuff.
So, hot take. We waited to the end of the episode to do this, but we'll do it anyway, even though, because it's in the title. Super Bowl predictions. Ready? Alvin, you go first.
Okay, before I go there, I have to say this because it's funny and sad. So, I like the Giants. They did not do so well. I decided to cheer for the Bears. Why not? They did not end up too well either. Fine. I'll cheer for the Chiefs. Hey, they're not here either. So a friend of mine was like, dude, you need to start cheering for teams you don't like. And I'm like, that's funny and sad. So I will be cheering for the Patriots. I said it. I said it.
Oh,
that's right. I said it. Okay.
Oh, man.
You left your mic on, huh? All right.
Yeah. See, like, so I also was hoping for a Saints-Chiefs Super Bowl. That would have been, like, the greatest thing ever. I was really, really hoping that would happen. And then football crushed my dreams.
True. Very true.
I thought that would have been super fun to watch a Saints-Chiefs Super Bowl. So, that being said, though, I don't want to hate on the Patriots. I'm just tired of seeing them every year. So I gotta go for the Rams. Like, I like what McVay is doing in LA. I like that system that they got going on. Like, there's been a lot of interesting videos talking about how he's revolutionizing the way that coaches communicate to quarterbacks. Like, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Like, Cantor 808 in the chat says that he wanted a LA versus LA Super Bowl, Rams Chargers. That would have been pretty funny.
Oh,
that would have been pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are we coming to me? Well, I first I want to say that I am also a Giants fan because that's also home team. Both teams play in the same stadium, but I lead with the Jets, you know, and I mean, it hasn't worked out for me too well. But regardless.
I know, I feel you.
Yeah. And the Giants are like the Patriot killers too. So
that's true. 2 times, right?
Yep,
It's 2 times already.
2 times.
Interesting.
I am going to go for the Rams. I think this will, I've been calling this the karma closeout pretty much. So pretty much when this Patriots dynasty started, it was when, they beat the Rams, and that was with Kurt Warner. And I remember watching that Super Bowl because it was like less than 2 minutes ago. And, you know, and it was like a tie game, and I'm just literally just watching the Patriots go down, and I'm watching the Rams play the St. Louis Rams at the time, play this just terrible cover 2 defense. And I'm just like, he's just throwing it over the middle. Like, don't you understand what's happening? They're going to kick a field goal and win this game. And they're just like marching down the field like it's nothing. The Rams just like, oh yeah, we're just going to go to overtime. I was like, no, you're about to lose this right now. And then of course, Vinatieri kicks the field goal, and, you know, and hence a dynasty begins. So I feel like this is the time where the Rams are going to finally close out this dynasty and maybe start their own with McVay. And so, yeah, I am going for the Rams. I do think they have the capabilities, the intelligence, and pretty much, you know, the balls to actually just go out and do something different. And so, yep. And I mean, I do hate the Patriots, so that has no bias with it whatsoever. But I do think the Rams are gonna close out this dynasty.
It's that AFC East competition, you know, like
it's real, man. It's real.
It's real. It is real. I'm telling you,
played our footballs. Like,
it's totally real. Well, yeah, like I said, I was hoping the fucking Chiefs would, because they are taking the chances too. In the way you described, like they are. It's crazy to see what, you know, from Alex Smith Chiefs to Patrick Mahomes Chiefs, like the transformation that they did between last year, and it's ridiculous.
Yes.
I really wanted to see that win, because maybe my award have to go to Andy Reid, because they broke the mold this year. They totally broke the mold, right? Yep. Like, no one thought that you could make that kind of system work in the NFL. No one thought it would work. Like. Everyone is on this grind that, you know, that you gotta, like, you know, run and gun, grind it out, big guys up front. And the Chiefs have been playing like that for how many years with Alex Smith at quarterback? But with Mahomes, they're like, oh, young kid, let's just let him throw 60 yards every other play, you know? No one plays like that anymore. And it's crazy to watch that transformation.
And they lost like one of their star running backs like mid-season too.
Ray Rice style.
Still, it's a loss.
Yeah.
Loss,
No,
yes.
yes. They did lose him. Oh my goodness. But see, in that offense though, I feel like it doesn't matter. I feel like, the next guy up is just as good. I didn't think it mattered that much. I don't know. That's a tough one for me.
But should be a good Super Bowl to watch.
I think so.
Last year's was good, so I was happy with last year's.
Yep.
And I was happy with the team that won. And so I'm hoping for like kind of a repeat of this year.
Is it a repeat? Dude, wouldn't it have been crazy if the Eagles went through again?
Wow.
They were
very close.
so close.
Very close.
It was impressive. It was impressive.
Very, very close. I thought it was possible for them to go. That would have been nuts. That would have been a crazy Cinderella story if Foles let them through again.
Yep. He needs to get that contract.
Need
a man.
Yo,
I don't want to miss this. Just in case, Cantor, if you're still there, shout it out. Who do you think? Or who do you want?
Cantor 808 in the chat. If you have any opinions, would love to know them.
Something tells me they're going to go for LA.
Wait, right?
with
Yeah.
Well, with that, we would like to thank everyone for tuning in to this week's show. It's great to talk about football. We love football here in the United States and, in Hawaii too. And it's been fun to look at the legacy that was Vince Lombardi and what he brings to football and athletics and just mentorship in general. I think that's the real big takeaway here. Canto 808 says league overturns Rams Saints ruling. Breeze beats Brady 42-10. But honestly, I think Brady gets his next one if the Rams can't get pressure. I like that hot take. I like that hot take.
And considering that, so if this is hard to say, sorry, but if the Patriots were able to get that victory, then you would have Bill Belichick now
above
Lombardi.
Oh, that's crazy. True. Yep. That's crazy.
That is very true. Wow.
That's really saying something. Interesting.
Okay, stop the show. We got to re-record this fucking podcast a week from now. Anyway. But yes, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you're listening on podcast services, you can check us out at iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, whatever you want for more of our episodes. Thank you for anyone tuning in to twitch.tv/HowsItNetwork. We'll try to broadcast as much as we can, as many of our shows as we're going. If you want to see more of us, you can check us out at howsitnetwork.com. All of our actions, all the crazy shenanigans we do go up over there. Although right now it's broken and we're working to fix it, but we'll get that up and running soon. Troy, where can people find you on the internet if they want to see more of your stuff?
Oh, they can easily find me on Instagram or Twitter. I'm at Your Afterthought. That's your UR. Like I said, I check Instagram on a daily, Twitter on the maybe, but easy to find me. Love hearing from the good peoples.
Nice. And if you like that Alvin goodness, please visit alohalvin.com. I have a new collection of articles. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Writers. Good stuff. Please check it out. I write like how I speak. And if you enjoyed me today, I'm sure you enjoyed the site.
And if you want to hear more from me, I'm at How's It Chris on Twitter. That's probably the best place to find what I'm doing over there. Most of it's dealing with this stuff. But if you want to see some dank memes or whatever else, check me out over there. We want to thank you again for lending us your beautiful ears. And just remember, it is not goodbye, because we shall see you later.